Hey guys, welcome back to a new video of Wikzooland. Today we are working on the lion habitat and I'm making a little food court area, call it what you want to call it. There's a reason why you guys see me walk straight into this is because the barrier tool in my game is very broken, very broken. So I had to do the habitat off camera because it's like every time I put a barrier down, I had to wait those 30 seconds of just freezing. It had to register me placing down the barrier, and the same with the terrain. So that's why you don't see me play around with the terrain and the habitats in this video, guys, unfortunately. So you're just gonna see me walk straight in and building the lion habitat here. My first goal here was to have a big open habitat for the lions. Maybe I built it too big, but what the hell, it's gonna get deleted anyway, so we might as well just make the best out of it. The lion habitat I'm doing here is mainly just it's just based on some of the tiger habitats I saw in Kolmorden. I know it's different species and all, but I just wanted to have some sort of the same vibe here with rocks all the way around the barrier, and then a little waterfall going down into this little lake here. And the lake is not so big either, but it does the job for it, and that's kind of like what I was going for. I still have that issue that with foliage. I want to fill up the entire habitat with a lot of foliage, but the lions just doesn't allow that. Because they're nitpicky, but it's always been like that in all Zoo Tycoon games, as I remember. It's just so ridiculous that one little leaf can have that effect on the animals. That, oh wait, that is way too much coverage for me, man. Just take it back a notch. I'm like, really? It's like a little leaf that is next to the water. You won't even recognize it, but it does. But anyways. Yeah, I had a lot of issues, guys, but the next day it ran way better, so I could go in and actually do what I was supposed to do, making the lion habitat here. So I'm doing that, adding a little waterfall here, which I feel like it looks so cool if you have some sort of a water interaction with the animals and the habitat. And the water in this game is just way better than Planet Coaster, so it's really nice to work with something like this for once that actually looks nice. Once in a while you see me go back to the habitats and make sure the animals are okay. And I'm struggling right now with the animal market not having any animals I can buy. And I bought three lions I bought, and the one already died, and it's quite difficult for me to get a new one, and the other one is also almost dying. So it's very difficult for me to get some new lions into this enclosure. I really wanted it for the last zoo tour I will provide to you guys, where I hope I actually have all animals in all habitats, but it just doesn't seem like there are any animals left, only with credit points. And as you can see, my credit points aren't that good, because I used all of them to buy lions, and lions are freaking expensive. It's ridiculous. I'm really looking forward to when I don't have to do all this and I can just go in and get the animal I want and build the habitat for it. Franchise is fun, but it's also very hassle. I feel like you hassle through the game than actually enjoying it at some points, which is a shame. But it is what it is. I feel like I've got a good idea on how this game runs. It runs basically as Planet Coaster in that way. The building tool, terrain tool, all that stuff. So in that way, it's nice, but the game is still very buggy. I have a new bug every day. So, but it's beta. Yeah, I can't really complain as much, because otherwise people will say, it is a beta, that's why it runs so bad. Because I know it's a beta, but I still can say what I feel about it though. Even though I feel like it runs very, very bad. But then again, a lot of people will come and say, yeah, but it is the beta. It can run smooth right now, blah, 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 you know. But as you guys can see here, it's a lot of rock work that's gonna be done here. But even though rock work is tedious, I do like it in this particular case, because it's new rocks, it's new textures. The rocks are way funnier to play around with in this game, because there are so many of them, and the texture is so good. So I really love playing around with the rocks here, and you also will see that in the build I'm doing after I'm finishing off the habitat here. There are some parts about the habitat that are not 100% done, like the back of it. As you can see where I made this little arch, that's where they eat and stuff, and I felt like I wanted to give the lions some privacy too, where they can eat their food and sleep, as well as also being here at the big plain grassland here as I'm making for them. Afterwards, I'm actually kind of feeling that the habitat here is quite nice, but I do feel like it's a little bit big, and I also hope that I could get some more lions, but unfortunately I don't have the luck for that part. Afterwards, I am finishing off the African area here. I hope that I could get an elephant or a giraffe, but it doesn't look like it with the credit points and all that I can get that. I do have hippos, so I might place the hippos down just to have them placed down in a little habitat. Otherwise, I am working on the wolf habitat now, and I'm gonna do a grizzly bear habitat, which I'm hoping to get out as well. Maybe before the beta ends or after. I would definitely also give you guys a little sewer tour when I feel like it. And I'm also making a little tour with Johnny, so you will also get to see it on his channel as well. But here I'm making a little sleeping area for the lions on the back here. I felt like that was quite needed, so the keepers and stuff doesn't need to go super far sometimes, so they actually just are chilling around here. And I will probably end up adding a little bit more stuff to the back here too, or maybe I even make the habitat smaller here in the back, because I do feel like it's a little bit too much space I've given them. So I might go in and redo that. But I've also started to make some of the backstage buildings. You might see some of them being a little bit decorated and some of them are not, but that is something I'm doing off camera, just, you know, fiddling around doing stuff that is not really necessary for a video. But we're slowly getting towards the end of the habitat here, which I'm actually quite satisfied with. There'll of course be some cinematics of it at the end, guys, where you can see the lion running around and having a good time. Okay, so we are moving towards the food area, food court that I have been doing, which is also a blueprint, guys, FYI. I know they might not be safe, but it was available for a blueprint, so that's what I did. And I also placed down my drink and info shop, which you guys might take or maybe can look in the back. It is there. I placed it there, and I actually feel like it works perfectly, and especially when I have this building finished too, then both of them works very well together for this African theme we are working on here. I was hoping that this building were kind of like given a lion vibe, sort of, you know. It does feel a little bit red bedrock, like Flintstones. But I do like how it ended up looking, and it goes very well with the lion habitat here and the entire lion area. And I'm kind of liking how this area turned out, that you can walk around, and this is actually how the area ends up looking, that you can walk around it, and then you basically walk around, and then the same route back through the zoo. So I'm kind of liking this little stop area that actually just turns around. It's a dead end, but it also turns around. So I'm kind of liking how this turned out. So here I'm just making some floor. I didn't feel like that. I didn't like the holes that were between the pathing, so I had to close it down a little bit here with this. What is it? Sandstone, something like that. Piece here to close it in. And this entire area is gonna look super nice and super immersive when you walk here. As soon as I press the play button though, people is gonna all it's crazy here. People are walking over here like it's crazy. So much stuff. And it's also kind of like a reason why I did it, because the lion didn't actually get a lot of attention as soon as I showed it. It was like people were there and like, okay, there's a lion, let's move on. So I wanted more people to be active over here. So that's also why I built this sort of food court here. So the people were actually walking towards here, and not just for the lions, but also for some shops and whatnot. I used the hot dog squad, the pip shop juice, I think, and the pip shop water, which is like the 2 or 3 shops you need to research. I wasn't aware that on the lodge I used at the Monsieur Frit shop were actually the last one to research. Some guy wrote it to me in the Steam Workshop that, hey dude, this is all good and all, but you know, this is the last thing to research, right? And that's also why I maybe think that's why it maybe not have so many subscribers. That was a brain fart for me. I was not aware of that. But yeah, just this area here, China trying to shine it up a bit with some benches. This new world theme, I think it's a theme that they weren't really sure of what to call. They made a lot of new stuff of this generic kind of vibe, and they are so good. Man, these pieces are awesome. I really, really love them. Especially these generic wooden structures and pieces they did here. They're amazing. Love it. Afterwards, I'm trying to add some trims to the little shop here, and as you can see, it actually worked out quite okay, if I have to say it myself. The Indian pieces too, the awnings is just amazing, and I afterwards go in and add the carpets we have like hanging around, and when I add those, that's just what it needed. I was looking for something that was gonna pop up the area here, and this definitely worked out. I'm calling this area the Lion's War because it fits well. It's next to the lion, and then I'm placing the lion next to it. I was a little bit struggling which lion I should go with, but I ended up using just the normal silhouette lion, which I felt like was quite better. I did not know entirely if this was gonna be a blueprint afterwards, but after I built it, I was like, you know what, let's just put it up on the workshop, even though there's only 3 days left of the beta. Some people might find it usable, so that's kind of like what I did. So the link is down in the description below, guys, for anyone interested, if you want it in your zoo for the last 2 days of beta, or you just want to check it out. I was struggling also actually with the space here, because I felt like after I did this, there were a lot of open spaces that I wanted to fill in with some assets, some Indian stuff, some crates and all that. And I also end up doing that, but there are still some areas that will end up being a little bit open and free to use for everyone. Maybe place some benches, could depend on how you make the pathing, all that stuff. It totally up to you how you will do that. I also end up adding a staff facility on the back side, which I actually cover up in rocks, which actually looks super dope, seeing them walking in and out of this little door here where there's like this rocks. So it is actually quite cool. I'm pretty sure you're gonna see this now where you see me placing it, and now I'm actually covering it up with some rocks, and it actually looks super dope. I really like this. Of course, I do prefer the front of this building where all the shops are, and that's also basically why I did this little back area. Not making it super nice, just a little bit of stuff, and that's pretty much it. It's mainly in the end of the video where you will see me do the last minor detailing, which will make this blueprint pop up a lot. That's my opinion to it. And also, I know they haven't said that blueprints will be deleted, but they haven't promised us either that they will stay. I'm of course hoping on the best, but if it comes to it, then we just had a lot of fun, and I will of course eventually build a lot more blueprints of the same style. I'm really liking this sort of bedrock flintstone style I'm going on with here, and I can totally see like an entire area being built like this, with also more animals interactive with it. So yeah, I'm definitely having a lot of ideas for a big sandbox zoo when we get the chance to build that. Yeah, and I think we're actually going we're going quite strong here now. It's a lot of rocks placing and placing down some poles here to give it some more realistic look, some more supports, and that actually works out quite well if I have to say it myself. Um, there's not so much more I'm doing besides adding these educational boards here, and then just the last assets on props and whatnot, as you are gonna see me add here. Also, just trying out some pieces, seeing where it takes me, because sometimes you have to check out the pieces how they look before you just make your decisions on, no, this is bad, this piece will not work. But sometimes pieces actually work, because no one says you have to use the entire piece, right? I mean, you can shove like half of the piece into the ground and have those pokey whatever they have, trims, whatever. So if you see a piece, the piece can be used in so many different ways compared to how you see the piece. So it's always nice to have a wide imagination when it comes to like one piece that can be used for 10 different purposes. And that's also something you're gonna learn through this game, that not all pieces are made for what they are made for. You can use them for so many different things. And that is what makes this Planko world of ours amazing, you know. So yeah, and that's also what I appreciate about this game, is that just because this piece says it's for a bracket or it's a wooden plank, well, it doesn't mean you have to use it for cover or anything. Okay, that was a bad example, but you get my drift here. We are still working, adding some more rocks. I'm just trying to make it look quite nice here on the back, and it actually does look quite cool. Especially also when I add the last assets, the last minor detailing to this build, and then it looks super cool. As you guys can see here, after I added the Indian carpets here and the oil lamps, this area just looks super nice. And I will of course put some trees and fences around where you see the backstage area, so that won't be in the way of this nice little area here. And just wait till you see this area with people. It's insane how packed it looks, but it also looks super busy and super nice. And that's also what I've missed about playing these sort of games, is that having the guests walking around your park, feeling the vibe, feeling the atmosphere. You can't do that in Planet Coaster, but you can't do it after you've built on a park and added 100k pieces, for example. Then it will be very difficult for you to have that. And that's something I do like about the game, is that you can have, I mean, I have over 2,000 guests in my park right now, and I don't feel any bad optimizations about it on my end. Well, the game runs bad, but not because guests are there. It's mainly all the other tools in the game that runs bad on my end. So I'm looking forward to have a nice big park with like 2,000 guests walking around. You can really feel it, right? That's what we've been missing in Planet Coaster. So that's also something I'm looking so much forward to have the guests interact with all this sort of stuff you're doing or building for them. And also I hope we're getting some petting zoos, maybe some playgrounds, all kinds of stuff for the people to be interactive with. I really love that. We are slowly moving towards the end here now, guys. As you can see, just trying to fill out the gaps and small areas that needs a little bit of love. And I do feel like the Indian stuff is also working quite well for the African stuff. You can't really put a name to what it is when you see it, that this is Indian, when it goes well for this. So I'm okay with these sort of pieces I place around. Here I'm just figuring out what kind of more pieces I actually had from the New World theme. There's so much stuff I still haven't explored yet, and there's probably some stuff I will not get to see in this beta build, because I'm not really focused on looking at what pieces I've missed out on. I'm just focused on finishing off this little beta park of mine. I don't know, there might be some places that might need a little bit more love when it comes to the end, but you guys know how it is. We are in a limited time, and I just want the best out of it. I don't know if I'll make a cinematic video of it when I'm doing a little park tour anyways. Maybe I'll just do it for the funsies and just to show you guys how the park look in a nice 60 frames cinematic. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. just adding some foliage here, guys. Not really anything specific, just adding a little bit of stuff here so it actually works quite well with each other. Fencing it off a little bit. You can see here, now I'm trying to finishing off the area itself here and actually make it look quite nice. And I gotta say, those Indian carpets definitely did something to the build here. And I had so many ideas on how I wanted to do this. It would be so cool to make this sort of bedrock kind of theme, right, in Planet 2, where you have all these sort of majestic animals. It would be freaking amazing. But anyways, guys, we are at the cinematics here now. You see the little or big lion habitat which I worked on, and I'm quite liking it. I hope I can get some more lions before I make the zoo tour. But nevertheless, guys, remember the Lions War shop skin is on the workshop, and the link is in the description below if you wanna check it out for yourselves here for the last 2 days. And if not, hope you guys have an awesome day. And yeah, hope you get to play at least as much as me for the next few days before the beta ends. And yeah, guys, stay awesome as always. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.